At this point, if you're not done with your warm-up, pause it until you're complete, and then we'll go over it. Number 1, solve the following. 9 is the same as x minus 10. Our job is to get x by itself. Right now, x is with a minus 10. To undo that, we have to add 10. And if we add 10 to the right side of our equation, we also add 10 to the left side of our equation. Negative 10 and 10 form a zero pair. They cancel out. X is 19. To double check, you plug it in. 19 minus 10 is 9. You know you're correct. Number 2, in a classroom, there are boys to girls in a ratio of 3 to 1. If there are 20 total students, how many boys are in the class? Well, here's the thing. The original ticket is 3 boys for every 1 girl. However, if I know there's 20 total students, this is not going to be the ticket that's going to help me to get to the answer. So I'm going to adjust my ticket. So I know there's 3 boys, but what I need to know is the total number of students, which is 4, because 3 boys and 1 girl is 4 total students. Now that I have the right ticket, 20 total students, 4 times 5 is 20, 3 times 5 will give me my answer. Number 3, a 3-pack of Kleenex costs $4.64. How much does it cost per pack? So 3 Kleenex, $4.64. You also could have done $4.64 over 3. Either way, your 3 and your 1 representing 1 pack of Kleenex need to be on the same row. Your dollar amount, $4.64, and your unknown, question mark X, whatever you want to call it, have to be on the same row. To answer this, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so you'll do $4.64 divided by 3 to find your answer. Number 4, in an aquarium there are 12 lionfish, 3 sharks, 10 stingrays, and 5 starfish. What is the ratio of sharks and starfish to total animals? Well, there's 3 sharks and there's 5 starfish, so that's 8. So your numerator will be 8 over the total number of animals. 12 plus 3 is 15, 15 plus 10 is 25, 25 plus 5 is 30, so 8 over 30 will simplify to one of these answer choices. Okay. Today we're going to wrap up some percent stuff. So the activator is estimate each percent that is shaded. So go ahead and pause this right now and get an answer for A, B, C, D, and E. So you should have 5 estimates. Okay, when you estimate these, you'll see that I just drew this red line in here to represent 50%. Clearly, the shaded area is a slightly less than 50%. So I would say a good estimate for this shaded area in A is about 40%. When I go to choice B, it's kind of interesting. You should be able to get an exact amount here because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total things that are split up into, and 4 of them are shaded. So what I can actually do is, when I think about this, is think about if I get rid of these 2 and instead color them down here, I see that I have exactly half of my total shape colored. In C, I've split it up into quarters, so each represents 25%. And I can see that this is slightly less than 25%, so a good estimate here would be around 20. D, this is a very small percentage of this circle that's shaded. I would say anywhere from 5 to 10%. When I go to E, it's the majority of it. And again, I've split this up into 4 pieces, so each piece represents 25%. And I see I have 50% here, so it's at least half, and it's well more than half. And if I think about it, I could actually take this little piece here and drag it up here and it fill that up. So it's at least 75% plus some more. I would estimate this around 85 to 90%. Okay, here's the agenda for today. We're going to estimate percents visually, which we just did. We're going to convert fractions to percents. We're going to do a couple word problems. We're going to find the percent of a number, and then the last 30 minutes are you going to be doing your work. So when you convert fractions to percents, the key concept is in a red box here. Percent is a ratio out of 100. Pause the tape and put this in your notes. Okay, the first example, what percent of the boxes below are shaded? Well, first thing I want to see is that I have 1, 2, 3 boxes that are shaded. And I know percents are a ratio where the total is always 100. So when I'm dealing with percents, my ticket is always going to be part to whole. Well, I know I have 3 parts that are shaded, and it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total boxes. So I have to take the fraction 3/5 and make it out of 100. If you remember your factor pairs, 5 times 20 will give us 100, 3 times 20 will give us 60. 60 out of 100 is 60%. So there are 60% of these boxes shaded. The second question says, which of the drawings below correctly shows 40% shaded? 40%. So when I look at box A, there are 2 total boxes and 1 is shaded. 1 out of 2 I know is 50%, so that cannot be it. I need 40%. So I go to B. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total boxes shaded. I'm sorry, 8 total boxes and 2 of them are shaded. So B is 2/8. When I think about that, I know I cannot make 8 out of 100. There are some alternate strategies we can use. If we punch that in our calculator, it will simplify to 1/4. And 1/4 is 25%. So I'm not looking for B either. When I go down to D, I see I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 total boxes. 4 of them are shaded. I have to take 4 out of 10, make it out of 100, which means I'll multiply by 10 over 10, and 4 times 10 is 40%, leaving me with the correct answer. Okay, so we've checked off estimating percents visually. Simple enough. We've checked off converting fractions to percents. Word problems. There are 2 of them. Pause the tape right now and figure them out. Okay, first one. In a park, there are 12 skateboarders, 3 rollerbladers, and 10 joggers. What percent of the people in the park are rollerblading? Well, when I go to my problem, I see that there are 3 rollerbladers. That's important. So there are 3 rollerbladers. And in this park, there's 12 skateboarders, 3 rollerbladers, and 10 joggers. So there's a total of 25 people in that park. I know percents are a rate or a ratio out of 100. So I have to convert this fraction to be out of 100 because 3 out of 25 is not 3%. You'd multiply by 4 here, you'd multiply by 4 here, you'd get 12 out of 100, which is 12%. The second one is a little bit trickier if you don't read carefully. It says, Jeff is working at the mall as a valet parker. Jeff parks a total of 20 cars. That's important. There's my denominator. He parks a total of 20 cars. Of the cars, 16 are Fords. What percent of the cars that Jeff parked are not Fords? All right, so let's think about this. There's 20 cars. 16 of them are Fords. So that must mean there's 4 of them that are not, because 16 plus 4 is a total of 20. I also know I need to find the percent. Well, luckily for us, 20 has a factor pair that will give us 100. 20 times 5 is going to give us 100. 4 times 5 is going to give us 20. So 20% of the cars are not Fords. Which means if 20% are not Fords, which is the answer to the question, that means 80% of the cars are Fords. Okay, last thing here is finding the percent of a number. The first section is without a calculator. Go ahead and pause your tape and give it a try. Okay, when I find the percent of a number, I know my benchmarks are going to make this really easy. So I'm working to find percentages of 30. I'm going to start here with 50%. I know half of 30 is 15. That's simple enough. Now, if half of 30 is 15, 25% is half of 50. Half of 15, and half of 15 is 7.5 or 7.5. So I have those 2 benchmarks complete. Now I'm going to move my decimal point to find my 10%. So I know I move my decimal left 1 place, which would go right here. So 10% is 3.0 or 3. I also know that to find 1%, I move my decimal over 2 places, 1, 2. So 1% of 30 would be 0.30 or 30 hundredths or 3/10. And 5%, there's a couple ways I could do it. I could add up 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, 0.3 5 times to get me there. I could also go, okay, I know that 10% is 3 and half of 3 is 1.5 or 1.5. There are my benchmarks. Using the calculator, it's simple enough. If you forget from the previous day, to find 15% of this number, you would type in the number 15. You would hit second and then that parentheses. Your calculator would then say 15 with a percent key. You would do times 435.56 and it would spit out the percent for you. Okay, The bit.ly for today is bit.ly/%calc2018 PC Capital. This is your last review. On Monday, we are going to quiz on this, and when we get back from break, we'll start a new unit.